Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're watching Westworld. This is episode 5 of the first season. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far. And if you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for free in the link in the description below. Just click on it, put the password in and enjoy. So very interesting stuff that's going on. Constantly keeping me guessing. I'm not really too sure totally what the whole storyline is about, if I'm being honest. And now we're starting the 5th episode. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's been very interesting, the fact that I'm still trying to figure out what the show's actual purpose and meaning is, with fully being entertained throughout the first 4 episodes, which is really good. You know, it seems like Dolores is the main character, but you know, Maeve is getting a bit of love as well, and she's coming right up to the forefront, as well as having her own storyline, and she's the one that is remembering, seems to be more than Dolores, even though she is obviously being used a lot with Bernard. She's speaking to him, you know, she's talking that she's you know, like gaining her own consciousness, and she wants to become, you know, she feels like the world that she's living in is not real, which it's not, and do you know what I mean, and she wants to become a better person, and he's actually told her go and find the maze, you know what I mean, and by doing that and achieving it, you know, maybe you'll get the answers that you're looking for. So that's really interesting. And like I said, speaking about Maeve last episode, she started getting the flashback. She was drawing the people in suits that would come in after, obviously, we have all these murder scenes when people attack everybody, do you know what I mean, when the guests go crazy, and she did remember waking up during a procedure where she had a bullet inside of her, and she could overhear the people saying, look mate, we need to get her back, just stitch her up, put her back in, we'll extract it another time. Then when she was in obviously the park again, you know, she was remembering stuff, she was feeling herself, she didn't have any marks, no scars, but she had that, you know, like feeling inside that the bullet was still there. So you know, fast forward right to the end of the episode, and you know, when the robbery was supposed to start, the guy's coming in trying to get inside of the safe, she pulled him to one side. She was like, look mate, you know, instead of doing all this crazy thing with your people outside shooting everybody and you get in the safe and pulling it away, I'll give you the combination in exchange for a few little words. So she started talking to him, she ended up getting the knife, stabbing herself, extracting a bullet. What does this mean? Well, it means that everything's not real. She ended up giving him a kiss before they end up shooting through the door and killing him. So again, very excited to see what's going on there. I'm not too sure what Ford's plan is as well. It seems like obviously he is the creator of this universe, this park, you know, this place with you know, with Arnold, as well as obviously he's apparently died in the park and Ford's still here. Now he still answers to a board, and they're expecting some big new level to the game, and you know, he's already kiboshed everybody else's plans and decided to rock and run with his own. Nobody really knows what it is, but he's kind of tearing up the park. And again, you know what I mean, he's very interesting. I'm not too sure what his, you know, plan of attack is, but we have seen him talk to Bernard and walk with a kid before and look over and see, like, I don't know, like an abandoned, what would you call it, like the outer shell of a building with a cross on it, and like, you know, Dolores just started having memories and stuff and flashbacks, and she's seen herself at her dad's grave whilst next to a church, which I was assuming was the building that he was looking at, like the carcass of it. And do you know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out and put 2 and 2 together. I'm not really too sure what's happening, but it's interesting. As well as the man in black, mate, the guy's pursuing, getting further and further into, you know, the game to find the maze. He's getting answered. He found a woman with a snake on her back, you know what I mean? And you know, she was saying that basically these people come in, killed all of her family. She had to cover herself in blood at the time to make it look like she was dead as well, so she wasn't killed as well when she was a little kid. And all the life she spent, you know, going through it, getting revenge on every single person that actually done that, and she covered herself in their blood, and that was the snake scales on her back, and there's only one bit left. It was the head of the snake that was on her face. And you know, he required a bit of information off her. He done a job for her to get some more information, and you know, the person, the head of the snake that they need to kill is Wyatt, and that is the person that got attached to Teddy's storyline. Yes, he's been given a background, and you know, they found him tied to a tree. So mate, very interesting. They're trying to piece it all together, and I'm still trying to figure out how it's going to work and what's going on. Thanks for checking out today's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you do, please smash the like, really helps out. Subscribe if you do, and as always, let's jump into today's episode.
You got any stories, friend?
Want to know the saddest thing I ever saw? When I was a boy, my brother and I wanted a dog, so our father took in an old greyhound. One day we took it to the park. Our dad had warned us how fast that dog was, so my brother took off the leash. The dog spotted a cat. He ran. He killed that little cat. Then he just sat there, confused. That dog had spent its whole life trying to catch that thing. Now it had no idea what to do.
That's kind of talking about himself, I reckon. You know what I mean? One of those ones you talk about somewhere else, but you're talking about yourself.
Show me how.
Oh.
She is. Are you all right?
Did I do something wrong?
Just earlier, I thought I heard you talking to someone.
Must have been the wind.
The farther out we get from Sweetwater, the more grandiose, the bigger the narratives become.
Well, whoever designed this place, you get the feeling they don't think very much of people.
Call themselves the Army of New Virginia. And everyone else calls them the Confederados.
Confederate soldiers that refused to surrender after the war. Now they work as mercenaries below the border.
He was Wyatt's friend.
His former associations are exactly why we need him.
You should have left him on that tree to die.
You believe in fate, Lawrence?
Bitch exists. I'd like to kick her in the teeth by now.
Eddie here's not looking long for this world.
Here's healers and pariah.
Oh, that's that kid that found Ford.
Our friend here's a little worse for the wear. Any water nearby, son?
What do you send him for water for? I'm the one you made fill up LaSalle's bag this morning.
Pat that brought you here. One for me, one for him.
Oh.
Guess I'll see you on the other side.
Oh, he's putting it in the bag. But why though? I'm trying to figure it out. So obviously, you know, he thought that Lawrence was the person that was leading him to him, but no, he was leading him to Teddy, innit? And now he feels like he's the one that's going to take him to, well, it isn't it? He's got to find the head of the snake, and that is, you know, the person that attacked him, and it's the same person, you know, that woman told him last episode, so it does kind of make sense, to be honest. But if you're just trying to, like, figure out and piece stuff together, she is stood there at the crosses of the graveyard, and like I said, mate, when she had a flashback at Ford's place or whatever's, she was there, a graveyard. Again, we have another piece that's kind of touching Ford with that kid where obviously they met. He was saying he was bored, they went for a walk. He took that kid to that location. You know, he did take the kid to a location before he said, okay, run along now, you know, it's time to go. And then he went back home. And then obviously we've seen him here today meeting up. And then again, if you go back to that place where they just was, they was talking and he was saying, mate, rumour has it, you know, basically a story. It was two people that created the park. One of them, did he say Ford killed Arnold or Arthur or whatever his name? I always forget what his actual name is. Or he killed himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're physically talking about the actual park creator story, where I believe that he was probably talking about an in-game storyline, but it was the actual real life storyline.
You know how hard it is to get the oracle curve symmetrical? You had to what? Plug and patch a couple bullet holes?
And a knife wound.
You really think this little fuck puppet's coming to get you? You forgot to put her in sleep mode. Break time.
Yeah!
What? What's going on?
Looks like a couple gallons of Lawrence swirling around in you did you good.
Whatever it is you want from me, mister. Ain't gonna be worth a damn deal like this.
Well, that would be a shame, Teddy. After your misadventure, Wyatt killed a settler family, made off with their daughter. Name of Dolores.
His makeup is so good. His makeup is really good. Still mad that, innit? You know what I mean? Even if it is part of the park.
In every moment, there are many paths hanging in the air like ghosts, and if you could just see them, you could change your whole life.
There's no rules or restrictions. You can change the story of your life. You can become someone else. No one will judge you. No one in the real world will even know. The only thing holding you back is yourself.
What do you mean by that? No one in the real world will know.
I thought you weren't supposed to notice things like that.
Eliza's agreed to have an audience with y'all tomorrow. In the meantime, there's a brothel I recommend.
Oh, I don't think Dolores would find that very interesting.
He's a goddamn dog.
I feel like she understands. Of course you do.
Hello, Dolores.
Speaking to Ford.
Do you know where you are?
I'm in a dream.
I'm in a dream.
Have you been dreaming again, Dolores? Imagining yourself breaking out of your modest little loop? I suppose I can't begrudge you that. Do you remember the man I used to be?
I'm forgetful sometimes.
I'm sure you remember him, Arnold. Your mind is a walled garden. Even death cannot touch the flowers blooming there. When was your last contact with Arnold?
Last contact. 34 years, 42 days. He told me I was going to help him.
Help him do what?
To destroy this place.
If you did take on that bigger role for yourself, would you have been hero or the villain? That's enough, Dolores.
Are we very old friends?
I wouldn't say friends, Dolores.
I just think it's proper interesting me. Like, I'm still trying to figure out, like, what the end goal is.
He doesn't know. I didn't tell him anything.
Yo, before we pan over there, I knew it. I've had the feeling the whole time. Do you know what, right? Every time Bernard and he or somebody says go into whatever mode, you know, and they go, and it's like, nah, man, they're lying. I feel like they're all lying. They're all playing it on because they know that that's what they want you to do. Do you know what I mean? Go in shutdown mode. You're not really in shutdown mode, you're listening. And like, she knows me. So it's Arnold, mate, that's talking to her. Do you know when he's saying, remember me? You know what I mean? Like, and stuff. That must be him. When was your last contact? 34 years ago. No, it wasn't. It was like 2 hours ago. And again, do you know what? She's there naked in front of him, but not naked in front of Bernard. See what I mean? It's easy to see. Like, it's so noticeable when that happens. Like, it just is. But I think the acting's great, me. When they turn robotic and they just answer it in such a simple, steady face, but like they do it, you just do it so convincingly. Like they are programmed, like they are robots. It's really good. But like I said, I still have no idea. I'm being truthful. Like what Ford's trying to get out of it, and what do you get when you win or get to the maze as well? Do you know what I mean? Do you like go all the way to the maze and then then you win a place in the real world or something? Do you know what I mean? Was that programmed into it? I don't know. And like he was saying, no matter how much, you know, you get republished as a character and change different roles and stay in your loop, his code's still in there, still deep embedded into the memory. And what was the last thing that he said to you? Well, the last thing he said that will be, you know, he's going to use me to destroy this or something, she said. I was like, that's pretty honest. You know what I mean? That's pretty honest. She had to give something if she was, you know, lying. And yeah, it turns out she was, mate. She knows it. He's left the room and she's talking to him. It's decent. Oh, it's a bird. Is it from the game? The lights are turning on behind him, checking she's walking.
The fuck? Grab it! You stole a bird and a fucking behavior tablet?
I haven't got the code right yet, but with practice.
Whoa, whoa. Is that your ace plan? You're not a fucking ornithologist. And you're sure as hell not a coder. You are a butcher.
It's her. Again.
Jesus. Personality testing should have weeded you out in the embryo.
I had troubled dreams, but I feel more myself now.
Oh.
You're a hard man to find. We saved your man Slim. I'd like an introduction to your Confederado friends.
See, there's Ford's creation.
There's something you're seeking, isn't there? I know what that feels like. I know we can help you.
How is the lunatics always find their way to me? A Union convoy is transporting a shipment of nitroglycerin from the front today.
You want us to help the Confederados steal from the Union? They're just going to use that nitro to slaughter your people below the border.
Blondie here. She's going to need a change of clothes for the occasion.
Oh, she looks pretty good. I like the bandana around the neck. I put a decoy body on the floor, me, so they had to stop and then shoot them.
My associates and I are here to relieve you of your ride.
Please, do as he says. We don't want to hurt you.
Much obliged.
I'm gonna say, don't get too close with the weapons. Oh, he's gone for it. He's gonna be cheering for him, I bet you. I told you. I knew it.
That's the spirit.
Do you know what, right? Regardless of what you think about that guy, he is pretty funny. Like, the guy's just committed to the game. He plays it as it's just a park, the game.
They put up a fight. We made him pay for it now.
That's the doing business. I knew that. You have secured a great victory for your cause today. Perhaps the evening of celebrations in order.
I don't know if he's going to go in and kill them at the night. And that's what I would do if I was him anyway. I'd go and try and kill them in the sleep, me, so they didn't have to go and use it.
That's the host that tried to kill me. Where are you taking that?
Livestock. And then the incinerator.
Fuck. Isn't she from behavior? Be cool, dickhead. No one's looking at us.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Exactly.
There's a common misconception that the hosts don't log sexual encounters when they're underground for reprocessing, but like I said, misconception. In a second, I'm gonna walk out of here and your friends are gonna wonder what this was all about. Now, your answer can either be, I'm helping behavior track a problem, or I'm a creepy necroperv.
5 minutes.
I still want to know what the symbols were that he drew on me.
What the fuck? You've been holding out on me, Maurice.
Is she pulling it?
You've got a big
what?
problem. Turns out, our big dumb friend had some hidden depths. That is a laser-based satellite uplink.
This was in the body of the host.
He was drawing a target. Someone has been using our host to smuggle data out of the park.
The only thing I can think of is Ford. Do you know what I mean? Like, the only thing that I can think of is Ford, because I don't know. The only other characters that we kind of know of is Bernard, her, but she seems to be like committed and loving the job, really. Let's be honest. I don't know, man. It could be the guy that was with her, but then it would be clever, because the dude that was with her, the one that keeps authorizing the stuff for the Man in Black to do, how good of kind of a cover-up, like, throw suspicion, deter it away from you, so to speak, play would it be to put yourself in a situation where some crazy shit happens, so then people are not going to have their eyes on you? Does that make sense? So, like, nobody's going to be thinking about him now, because obviously he was there experiencing it at the same time. They won't think he's involved, but maybe he might do, because all these other things, you know, he keeps authorizing it. Yeah, sound, yeah, just give it him, yeah, give the approval. But this him, this her, this Bernard, this Ford, and this Bernard's the boss. Do you know what I mean? The person that is dating him, and also there's that like British guy who tried to pitch a level in the park and Ford shut it down. There's only them 5 that would not make sense, but they're the only ones that we kind of know about that would do something. And do you know what I mean? If you was narrowing it down, it wouldn't be her. I don't think it's Bernard, even though I kind of think his kid's in the game. So it could only be I don't know, man. It is very interesting.
War. It's that good, huh?
Another round on the house.
The road to glory could use more warriors in its fight for our divine providence.
If you don't like them once we get to the front, you can just kill them and join the revolutionaries. No, Logan, enough's enough.
There is no such thing as heroes or villains. It's just a giant circle jerk.
You probably think you're on this trip because you're some kind of contenders, some threat to me.
Earned my place and nobody handed it to me.
Following the rules, and you finally reached the pinnacle of your career trajectory, executive vice president. You walked into my office and then you shook my hand and you thanked me for the opportunity. That was the best day of your life. Right, buddy. That's what I thought.
Of course it'd be best day of your life, though, if you got, you know, the position of EVP. Definitely. Oh, you got a is it? Were these comedians or card readers?
You must follow the maze.
Yo, that looks mad, that. Wow, what was going on there, mate? You wouldn't actually know if you was going crazy, though, would you?
Easy pumping that nitro into him.
I knew that, well, they're double crossing him, but in a different way. I thought it was going to kill them, but no, they just switch in the substance.
Careful.
Well, you have to go now.
They create an urgency, a sense of danger, so they can strip us down to something raw.
But together, I know we can find a way out. There's a voice inside of me telling me what I have to do.
Shit.
I don't understand why you would blame him. He's just gone and done the drop for you, or the pickup.
Help me.
Oh, Logan's laughing, look. Oh, she's got a gun out. She looks good, man. She does look good. I'm liking that outfit.
People come here to change the story of their lives. I imagined a story where I didn't have to be the damsel.
Can you imagine if Lara, well, not Lara Croft, but kind of, I don't know. Logan come running down the track as well now.
Motherfuckers.
Smart. She's seen him put it in there. Yeah.
I don't trust him.
Which is the first step to truly knowing me.
Mate, again, look, there's a symbol for the maze. There's nobody there. But again, this is what I'm trying not trying to figure out. I do think that guy's there with her, but like, is he though? I don't know. Like, it's just interesting situations. What I know is how's Lawrence gone in the same episode with really no explanation, from being tied upside down with his neck cut, blood drain put inside of you know, put inside of that guy, to then move in the same episode, maybe 5 minutes later, into another part and another story on the other side of the park as Lawrence again. You know, not another character, not somebody else, as Lawrence, but he's alive and he's gone through this story. You know what I mean? Is it supposed to be a couple days in advance? I don't know.
You boys want some company?
Just whiskey. I told you, no company.
Thought I might
Oh.
join you anyway.
Everything good that has ever happened in your life? And everything rotten? This is the man you have to thank. How am I doing, Robert? Any closer to finding what I'm looking for?
Looking for a man named Wyatt. Killed a rancher back in Sweetwater. Took his daughter.
That last part doesn't sound familiar. I lack the imagination to even conceive of someone like you. The urgency, however, doesn't quite fit the character.
Is he just another stooge for the tourists to mount on their wall at home, or someone to stop me from finding the center of the maze?
And what is it you're hoping to find there?
Purpose. Meaning. I think there's deeper meaning hiding under all that. Something the person who created it wanted to express. Something true. Well, maybe he left something behind. I wonder what I would find if I opened you up. Even at death's door, a loyal pet. Is that why you came here, Robert? Try to talk me out of it?
Far be it from me to get in the way of a voyage of self-discovery. You must look back and smile at perils past.
We should get back on the road.
This guy's obsessed with her and he's scared.
It's time you and I had a chat.
Right, what I'm trying to figure out is the only significance of the bird being placed is to show that a guy who's in the current present world could come to the imagination or, you know, belief that something that was from a fake place like the park could actually be ever present in the present, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So, like, do you reckon that was the seed, no pun intended, for the bird, for him to believe that there's a possibility that they could be alive in the present world? Because, you know, what was his purpose? Unless he wants to change job roles like that guy was saying, do you know what I mean? We're butchers, you know, you're never going to be a coder. Well, maybe he wants to be a coder, do you know what I mean? Maybe he wants to venture into that and he was testing to see if he's good enough. But I feel like he was testing for that whole purpose of a reason there, because, you know, Maeve has been brought into that lab a few times, and each time, ever since the first occasion where she ran away, he seems pretty scared. Do you know what I mean? It's like, who again? You know, and the guy's like, mate, you know, how do you even get this job if you can't even do it, so to speak? And he's obviously thought, you know what? I'll take something, see if you can do it, make it, and if you can be ever present here with us. And now, obviously, he's got that bird rocking and rolling, and she's awoken. But then again, it's like, the thing, I feel like all episodes, she was just waiting. She was never in sleep mode, or she was never turned off. She was trying to get him alone, because he's been around there the whole entire time, every time she gets taken in. And maybe she's listened and heard that he's not actually, like, a bad guy. If that, you know what I mean? Like, if you was deciphering conversations between everybody, you'd think this guy's different to the others. And it's like, I don't know, Dolores, for example, even when 14 turned down, shut down, go into this mode, I feel like they just play acting on it, because they know that that's what they need to do to not survive, but, do you know what I mean, to extend their pursuit of what they're trying to achieve. And do you know what I mean? Like, she's here now, we need a little chat. Now, maybe she can be his, you know what I mean, like his person, the way obviously Bernard has Dolores. And again, you know, I do think it's interesting with her storyline. She's kind of venturing out and deciding what she wants to do herself now. She's not sticking to the plot. You know, she's not going places where the guests are taking her. That's different, innit? Do you know, like they said last episode, or was it the one before? Your Dolores is mooching way far away from a farm. And then the person said, well, is she alone or is she with a guest? And she's like, oh, they're with guests. And then he was like, all right, then that's fine. Keep an eye on her. Let's see where it goes. Even that police officer or whatever was trying to take her, and he stepped in and was like, no, she's with us. And he's like, sorry. Do you know what I mean? Carry on. Now here, she's going off and doing her own thing. She went outside. She went to view what was happening. She's seen, obviously, they're changing the thing from and putting it into whiskey. They put it into the bodies, put it into whiskey. She went inside. We need to go. We need to venture out. Do you trust me? I've got a feeling. There's a place. I've got a voice inside my head. You know, Randy Orton. Then they've obviously ran. They've been attacked. She's chose her own decision to self-defend. Everyone, bang, 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 get like shoot them. Do you know what I mean? She's acquiring traits that she never had before. She could pull the triggers now. It's never programmed to be able to do that. And now they've escaped and they're on the train. So I do think it's interesting that they've gone there and they've left Logan back in that place, obviously getting beaten up. And he had a kind of little smirk on his face as well, even though it's like, help me, and he didn't. He was kind of smiling at the same time. He knows he can't die, but do you know what I mean? It still doesn't mean that he won't get hurt. Like he said, you know, they have to make it a bit real, you know, to make it more fun. You can't just go around and win everything. You've got to at least feel a bit of pain, get locked up and do that. So in their aspect of the storyline, I do think it's really interesting. Again, mate, you know, two people are trying to find a maze now. Who's going to get there first is one question. And what they're going to find, that is the second big one that we need to find out. Okay, and that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out our channel today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So again, like I said, very interesting storylines going on. We've got obviously the Dolores one and obviously the Man in Black trying to get to the maze. But then we've kind of got the storyline going on with Ford and Arnold. Do you know what I mean? The two creators of the park, and both of them, I don't really know. I actually don't really know what's happening with that one. I really don't. Their one trying to find the maze. I do kind of get what's going on. She's getting a voice inside her head, which I think it's Arnold. I actually think it's Arnold that's sort of speaking to Dolores. And then I feel like the Man in Black's kind of working for Arnold as well, because he seems to not be a big fan of Ford. And, you know, he was saying that the creator of the park has obviously left one final clue, and he wants to find it, and he's ready, you know, he's been everywhere, and this is where he needs to go. So it's like both of them are kind of working Arnold's way, and then obviously he's here trying to, well, he was like, who am I to prevent somebody from going on a quest or something like that? But in reality, he doesn't want him to get there. You can see him obviously coming in the game, and people are there kind of like to protect him as well. Did you see him? You know, Teddy grabbed the knife, you know, because he thought he was going to go for him. And he was still wagging his finger. He stopped the time. Then he had it playing again. And he could just appear and do whatever he wants. He just appeared there, sat down, had a drink, stood up, walked off, and just carried on. And again, it seems like he's changing the narrative of the storylines as we go forward. He was like, obviously, Wyatt, that's kind of part of Teddy's storyline now. Like he was saying before, the Man in Black, when he was speaking to him, well, that's new. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was never there before. It's just been implemented. And, you know, I wonder if he's trying to put stuff and more things in place to deter him or push him away further and further from finding the maze. Now, where that's going to be, I have no idea. And obviously, what they're going to achieve when they get there, again, I still have no idea. We've got, like I said, the interesting thing is she's had voices in her head. She hears them. I thought it might have been the dad speaking to her. Kind of think like we missed a trick with using the dad, to be honest, because the first episode he acted so good, honestly. He was acting great, and we've not seen him since. You know, he did get decommissioned, but I feel like, you know, they could have put him back in the park, back in the story, the same way we've used all these other people many a times with different characters, or just when he replayed the day. Do you know what I mean? And then again, you know, my question was, he was going around with the Man in Black and he got strung up and he got killed, and then he ended up, boom, on another part of the storyline. Obviously, we're hearing Dolores and you know, Logan over there, and now they're venturing off on a train with a full you know, like full body of, what does it say, nitroxide or something? Where's he taking it to, and what's he going to do with that? So I'm still interested in what's going on in the present as well. Do you know what I mean? What's you know, what's that guy trying to achieve with the bird? What's Maeve actually want? What answers does she try to seek? You know, can he reset her so that she actually forgets? You know, if they do the job properly, she should actually forget. But, you know, they don't really know that there's been kind of like a code that's said to her. You know what Dolores said, that's kind of like a change of fragments in her head. We didn't see anything of her friend that we usually kind of see her. You know, she's like a +2 who usually chills in the bar. Maybe she's the next person that transitions over. Even the guy with a scar on his face who was kind of learning last episode, he was like, what does this mean? I feel like he could be the next person or one of them to start remembering as well. And then obviously you've got the girl working with Bernard who's found the tracker inside the guy's body, you know, the one who smashed his own head in. And again, you know, like, who is that? Who's planting these into characters that's extracting information into like the real world? I don't understand it. If it's somebody who's working at the park, surely they could just sit there and watch it and see everything. So why is this person trying to gather data, and why has it got, you know, a self-destruct kind of mechanism inside of it? And what do they want to achieve? Do you know what I mean? Still, we're on episode 5. I don't really, like, again, I don't really know the story. I understand what's going on. Like, when I say I don't understand the story or know the story, it's not like I don't understand what I'm watching. I do understand what I'm watching. I understand the Dolores storyline, obviously the park, the guests, people, you know, like being killed, coming back, remembering past life. Do you know what I mean? Thinking, am I real? Are they not? Do you know what I mean? The fact that people come into the park, the stories, Maeve's trying to go and get her questions, you know, she's trying to figure out what's going on. Dolores is trying to get to the maze. Who's Arnold? You know, he's building the game. I'm understanding all that, but what is the purpose of the whole storyline? Like, I don't see the end goal yet, which is good. I don't really know, like, what at the end of the season, what the achievement is to doing that. I understand that we're going to get to the maze and the game, and, you know, there's going to be like a new level that's going to be created by, looks like, Ford right now. And who's the board? Do you know what I mean? Why are they so adamant and determined to add in a new set, you know, like a new part into it? I'm fascinated. Honestly, I really am. It gets the mind going, and you know, it gets the people going, as you know, Will Ferrell says, mate. So very interesting. Can't wait for the next one. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you did enjoy it, please smash the like, it really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.